Here is the final part of the recent videos of collapses. As I talked about the 2016 Lions and the 2002 Saints, now I'm going to talk about another one. This time, the 2008 Buccaneers. So in 2008, the Buccaneers were hosting the Super Bowl that year. They went 9-7 the previous year and won the division. So there was some aspirations of hoping to make the Super Bowl in 2008. The Buccaneers got off to a pretty strong start too, and with 4 weeks remaining, they were 9-3. And they had the second seed locked up at that moment in the playoffs, and it looked like they were going to run away with it. But then, going into December of 2008, the team just fell apart. Their defense, which has been dominant since 1996, completely fell apart, and the team completely collapsed, losing all 4 of their remaining games to finish 9-7 again, but this time not making the playoffs. The whole team was gutted pretty much. Lane Kiffin, their defensive coordinator for over a decade, leading that incredible Buccaneers defense at that time, fired. John Gruden, fired. And the Buccaneers would never have another playoff appearance again until 2020. But what if this didn't happen? What if that momentum kept on going into December? So we're going to talk about it now. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if? An NFL theory. So remember in the 2016 Lions how they had all 3 of their games were against playoff teams, and most of them they lost by quite a bit. And then the 2002 Saints, they played teams with losing records and lost them all by close ones. The Buccaneers, meanwhile, in 2008 were all over the place. Their first loss would be Monday night at the Panthers, which they were 9-3 as well, and they got trounced by them. Then after that, it was at the Falcons, who were 9-5, 8-4. And the Falcons won that in overtime by a field goal, so that was a really close one. Then it would be them hosting the 6-8 Chargers. It was a close game until the fourth quarter happened, where the Chargers all of a sudden exploded out of nowhere and won it 41-24. And then finally, ironically too, the Buccaneers would host the Raiders, John Gruden's old team, in his final game with the Buccaneers, and the Raiders would win it 31-24 in a last-second touchdown when they were 4-11 as well. So the Buccaneers had a mix of teams that had losing records and made the playoffs. 3 of their teams that they played did make the playoffs. And they had a mix of 2 close ones and then 2 blowouts. So in this scenario, I'm going to defy the odds and give the Buccaneers all 4 of these remaining wins. And with this, they would finish 13-3, which would be the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs, as the Giants fall to the 2nd seed, and the Panthers fall all the way down to the 5th seed, and the Falcons fall to the 6th seed, as the Eagles now miss the playoffs. So in the playoffs, the wild card would begin with the Falcons at the Vikings. The Falcons beat the Vikings a few weeks earlier, so I think they would get that in the rematch, which would then have the Falcons visit the Buccaneers. Now, the Buccaneers crushed the Falcons in week 2 that year, and then they almost beat them in the rematch. Remember, I mentioned overtime. So I think the Buccaneers could get it this time around, which would then set up the NFC Championship as the Giants now visit the Buccaneers. How funny enough, too, whoever wins this game would have to stay in Tampa for the next 2 weeks for the Super Bowl. So this one, it would be a rematch from the last playoff game they made, but I think the Buccaneers' momentum would come to an end, as the Giants being the better team. I think they would get it in the rematch. So the Super Bowl would now be the Steelers and Giants, as I mentioned in my previous series involving these 2 matchups in the Super Bowl. I think the Steelers would get it in the end still. And that wraps up this theory, but hey, it's just a theory, an NFL theory. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the free collapse videos, as now I got a short injury video I wanted to talk about too. So see you guys then for that video.